The guy who I kissed at the bar, I have no idea what his name was. Remember? Remember that guy?
Which one, Liz?
Okay, I kissed a lot of boys at a lot of bars, okay?
Hey
Hi, everyone!
guys!
Welcome back. You know what time it is?
Time for another episode of us rambling. Rambling on. We hope this one we won't be as chaotic with everything that we're going to talk about, but we do have some hot topics to start off this episode on.
We do. First of all, this is literally just like 4 days after recording our last one, because we're leaving for LA on Sunday. It's Thursday right now, just so y'all know. So we were like, we want to go ahead and like just record another episode, get it in, so we won't have to worry about it while we're out of town. So yeah, and we told y'all we're going to be talking about body language this week, and that's definitely what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
But before we get into that, I have to tell Victoria about my day.
And you guys too. You guys are so lucky that you guys get to listen in.
You get to hear about this because it's truly traumatic. For the past 2 days, I've had a sore throat, and like I had a sore throat like a month ago, so I didn't really think anything of it. And this like last night, like all throughout the night, I was like struggling because I was in so much pain. And then my nose started running this morning, and I'm like, okay, I have to go to the doctor. I have to see what's wrong. And I only have a fever on one side of my face, which I think is because the doctors checked my ears and have fluids in both my ears. And I think I'm getting an ear infection in one of them, which is great. Which, by the way, about my ears, this might be TMI, but like I can feel the fluid. Like my ears are like wet. They're so like stopped up.
No, I know what you mean.
Isn't that yummy?
As someone else who also had chronic ear infections as a kid, like I totally understand.
You understand. Me too. And so I was telling my mom, like, yeah, my ears are wet, and like I can hear the liquid and feel it. It's like tickly. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
So that's happening, and I have a really sore throat. And if you hear me sniffling or being a mouth breather, just know I can't help it. Okay, don't come for my life.
Give her a break.
And so today, my dad took me to the doctors because I don't have a car, and I couldn't go inside because they were also testing me for COVID to make sure I don't have COVID before going to LA and whatnot, which I don't think I have because I can taste, smell, nothing's in my lungs. It's just all through here.
Yeah.
And they were also testing me for strep. So the first thing they do is test me for strep, and I have a bad gag reflex.
Okay.
And the doctors stuck that thing back there, and she was like twisting it around on both sides, and I'm like, like choking. And I was about to make some joke about having a bad gag reflex. and
I was like, your dad.
I was like, now is not the time. Not the time. Not with the doctor. Not with my dad. Elizabeth, you are 23 years old. Time to act like an adult. So I kept it in. Kept it in.
Okay.
And then the next part came of them doing the COVID test, and I got my brains poked, and she like stuck that thing up there and like wiggled, and then kept it there for 5 seconds, and I am like tearing up because this thing is like poking my brain.
Yeah.
I already got my strep test back. I don't have strep. Like I do think I just have a sinus infection, but I'm still waiting on the COVID test.
Yeah.
So then I came home just a little bit ago, and Bella, our dog, she's 13. She's a little bit older. She started to have bad anxiety recently. Her thyroid has also stopped working, so she's like balding right now. The girl is going through it.
Okay.
She's on thyroid medication. She'll be okay, but like she's balding and having anxiety attacks.
Yeah.
She's not thriving. And so I really had like she's following me around the house like going panting. Losing her mind, and I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. Like, you can come with me, but I have to go.
Right.
I told you we're getting close and personal. I don't even care anymore.
Okay.
And so I go to the bathroom, and Bello comes in there with me. This dog is like 60 pounds. Like, these people need to know.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I sit and I'm like pulled my pants down, Bella goes for my underwear, and I'm sitting on the toilet fighting a dog, chewing and like licking my underwear while I'm trying to do my business. And so I am like, Mom! And like, I didn't want to put my underwear back on after Bella did that. And so
Yeah.
I hadn't even peed or anything yet. I like wiggled like naked across the bathroom and like kicked Bella out. I'm like, I don't care if you're having an anxiety attack. You just licked my underwear.
Yeah.
And I told Mom she had to take her. And so then I finally got to go to the bathroom. And then I came out and I like barely had my pants on because I don't want my underwear to be touching me after Bella did that. And I'm like, Mom, I'm going to get an infection. I'm going to get an infection because of the dog licking my underwear. And I have to go record this with Victoria. I haven't even drank my hot tea, which is right here.
Okay, she's got the hot tea, everybody. Everybody calm down.
I got my tissues. Like, we're okay. But that is what just happened to me not even 10 minutes ago.
And how lucky are we to have you here on this podcast now?
To tell you about all of that.
That is wild, though. And I feel like I would react the same way. Definitely would have went commando on the walk back to my room, because that is not
disgusting.
Good. That's
disgusting.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. Pretty gross. But we overcame, you conquered. Yep. And here you are now. And how are you feeling? Are you still feeling congested everywhere? Or
I am. I woke up with like a really bad migraine today, and like my nose is still running, but it's not like bad like it was this morning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take like more meds in a little bit, like probably when we finish this, and just hope and pray it's just your average cold, your average sinus infection, and nothing worse.
I will. I'm manifesting that. It can't be anything worse. I'll be
devastated. I will lose my mind. Lose my mind.
Me too.
I don't know what No, I don't know what I will do. Like, part of me will just like crawl in a hole and die, and then also part of me will like flip tables.
Okay. So stay tuned, everybody. Oh my gosh. Well, my day wasn't even half as crazy as that. I watched season 3 of You.
I love that.
I just started today because I've been binge watching New Girl, everybody, which I loved, but I finished that this morning. So I started watching You, and then I literally did that all day, applied for some auditions, and then I met up with my grandpa for a bit, and now I'm here.
Aw, Grandpa.
Grandpa. Love him.
And he listens to this. Shout out, Grandpa.
He calls it a blog. It's so cute.
That's adorable.
Are you still doing your blog? I'm like, I'm still doing my podcast, but yes.
Oh,
yes, Grandpa.
I love that. What a precious man. Oh my gosh. Our last episode we recorded on Halloween, so I have to tell you about what happened Halloween night.
Yes, tell us about the Halloween story.
So we took the kids trick-or-treating and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I told you this, because we talked yesterday on the phone for a little bit, mostly about, like, packing and, like, outfit choices, important things, you know? But, like, in my neighborhood, there's some places that have, like, blow-up scary things or, like, giant-looking creatures, like, people will put out. They're not real. They're not people dressed up. They're just, like, fake things, you know? Well, I'll go up to them and I'll act like I'm being, like, kidnapped or, like, possessed by them, and I start screaming and acting like a lunatic to try to scare the kids. I do this every Halloween. And so I did this twice, and Willow, she's 5. I think she's 5 or 6. I can't even keep up. She's growing up. Anyway, she's around that age. And Willow, she goes, Ashley, her mom, who's my cousin, she's like, how many times are you going to do that tonight? And Willow goes, I don't know. She's already done it twice.
Children are ruthless.
They are ruthless. And so, like, besides that, like, trick-or-treating was great. It was fun. But then, you know I'm a puke sympathizer.
Yes.
I have a bad
puker. Yeah.
I am. I have a bad gag reflex. if you like poke my tonsils, yeah, I'm gonna gag. If I
Okay.
hear someone throwing up, there's a chance I'm gonna throw up. Like when I get
Fair
sick, if I
enough.
get the stomach bug, it's a vicious cycle because I throw up, but then I throw up again because I feel bad for myself.
Okay.
So Carson, my 3-year-old nephew, I put in quotes because we're not
Yeah.
blood related, but I'm Auntie Liz. He pukes super easily from like sugar and like he has like a lot of mucus and like when it mixes
Yeah.
together it causes him to throw up. And so it was like 9 o'clock at night and he all of a sudden throws up in our kitchen from eating too much sugar. And he like throws
Uh-huh.
up multiple times. And then he's also like getting sick in the toilet. And then Daisy, our dog, she throws up on the other side of me. And Charlie, his dad, is like, all right, who's next? Who's going to be throwing up now? And my mom goes, Liz is about to.
She knows you
She's
too
like,
well.
Liz. She goes, it's going to be Liz. She's like, Liz is about to. She's going to do it.
Did you make it?
I made it. I survived.
Victory.
I said, I'm leaving. I'm going to bed.
You said, I'm done.
I cannot listen to this anymore.
Oh my goodness. Dang.
Yeah.
Nobody threw up on my Halloween night. So
That's
North
great.
Carolina's just so exciting. Florida's got nothing on North Carolina. Apparently.
Oh yeah. We got puke, we got dogs that are balding with anxiety.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Florida just has crazy people. So, you pick and
I know.
choose which one you want.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
So, should we talk about our topic now?
So now that we've caught you up on our lives,
Mm-hmm.
let's get into the hot topic of today's episode, which is the importance of body language. Ursula said it best herself in the movie The Little Mermaid. Never underestimate the importance of body language. And I couldn't agree more with a statement. We kind of touched on this in the last episode, but I think that body language is such an important thing, and it's like cues that we don't pick up on a lot. And this goes in general, not even for like in a romantic situation. This can go like for when you're hanging out with friends or like when you're meeting a guy for the first time and you don't really know each other. There's so many body cues that we do just like naturally that I feel like we don't think about.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm not an expert on it, but like
I was about to say, I'm not a psychologist, but like I can pick these things out.
Yeah. And I don't know what we touched on in the last episode, but that's going to be the hot topic today.
Okay, well, how about we start with like you meeting a guy for the first time? How do you know that he's based off of his body language that he's feeling it too?
Yeah, I feel like usually if someone's like more leaned in and they're like more open with their arms. This is kind of I'm trying to explain it so our podcast listeners will be able to understand by the words, but they're sitting there like they're automatically closer to you. You can tell by their eyes. They'll be making eye contact with you instead of looking around at other places. They probably won't be like leaned back and just like sprawled out for everyone. That gives me bad vibes. If a man is sitting there with like his legs spread open, he's like hanging out.
Man spreading everywhere, yeah.
No, I can't do that.
It makes me just want to go like karate chop in and like, Kwah!
I'm like can you at least act like you're a little bit of a gentleman right now?
Same.
But yeah, I think if they're like leaned in, and I think that for men, if men have like their hands clasped together, I take that as like a good sign because I feel like then it just means they're like tenser and they're like, and to me it looks like they're more excited in like what you're saying. Now when you switch genders, like if a female's sitting there and she's like this, I think that means that the female's like, please get me out of this. She's more nervous. She's a little more like wants to leave.
I was gonna say like I feel kind of the opposite. whenever
Mm-hmm.
I go out on a date with someone or I'm hanging out with not even like a romantic partner, just someone in general, I try not to cross my arms. Like I try to consciously think about it because like out of habit you'll just be like sitting there, standing there, whatever, and you'll just cross your arms
Yeah.
just out of habit. But that makes you look really closed off and like you're closed
Yeah.
off from like
This
accepting
move.
what the yeah, accepting what the
Yeah.
other person is doing. So that's something I take into consideration a lot when I'm hanging out with someone.
I say the same thing. Just like when I'm hanging out with literally anybody in general, like crossing my arms. I think it's us growing up in the theater industry because at least for me at the theater that I grew up at, every time anybody would cross their arms, she'd be like, "Stop crossing your arms." That's a negative. That's a negative stance. So
Yeah.
like now in any situation, like I can't cross my arms because I don't want to come off as a negative person. But I
Yeah.
honestly like I do understand like if a guy is standing there and he's like I'm like, are you mad at me? Or did I do something wrong?
What's going on?
Yeah.
When I think about like hanging out with a guy for the first time, I think about I'm gonna call him his nickname because I nickname all my guys the Olympian who I went out with for the first time and how we went to the sculpture garden and we were walking around together and like when you are with someone new who you don't really know, like the distance between you guys when you're walking might be a little further apart, but
Yeah.
like I could tell we both liked each other because our distance was closing in more and more.
Yeah.
And like to the point where like we would brush arms or whatever, like we were like so close to each other that we wanted to close that distance, we wanted to be right next to each other.
Yeah.
And then when we sat down at a picnic table talking about TikToks and laughing at TikToks, I let my leg like brush up against his leg, like I sat that close to him where like our thighs were literally touching
Yeah.
the whole time.
I think
Like I
that
want to
that's
touch him.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah. That goes into like kind of like the love languages, like it being
Physical
physical touch
touch.
and all that. My love language is definitely physical touch, and I think that that is very evident. If any of the guys I've ever hung out with are listening, they probably are like, "Yep, that's very evident," because literally from the get-go, I like to be close to a person. I like to like touch and like constantly be on them. So I think that body language is very important to like initiate that,
Yeah.
in my
See,
opinion.
physical touch is not my love language for like other people. I think it's because when I have a person I like, I give them all my physical touch. When
Yeah.
I like a guy, like he's the person I hug every day. He's the person I kiss every day. The
Mm.
person I'm like going crazy over. I
Oh
do
my
not hug
gosh.
my parents every day. I don't know the last time I hugged my parents. That's really bad.
Hey, no,
Or
it's okay. I feel like I don't hug my parents like often, but
yeah,
I everyone else in my life, it's hands on. But it's
that's
okay.
funny. I
But
try to
yeah.
hug my dad more because I know my dad, his love language is physical touch because he
Yeah.
always wants to hug me. So I try to love him like that too, but I'm more of a let's just sit and talk kind of person.
Papa Lackey, if you're listening, I understand the struggle. I lived with Liz for 3 months, and I never forgot a hug. Got a hug the first day we met. So
The first day. And for the rest of the summer, that was the only hug you got until we left each other.
it's okay. It's okay. I got used to it. But anyway,
I'm so
back
sorry.
to back to body language. We can talk about the body language like leading up to when you're like hanging out with a guy, because like obviously when you first meet a guy, you're not just gonna like jump his bones
No.
unless that's the move, unless that's the vibe for the night. I've been there, done that. But like normally, like if you're going out on a nice date, there is
Uh-huh.
there's body cues before you like initiate like the first handhold or like when he like pulls you in for a hug or whatever. And I think that comes a
Yeah.
lot with like the eyes. I think for women, we rely a lot on like our hair and I think our shoulders have a lot to do with it. I'm not gonna lie.
What?
Because
Tell me more.
we like go like this and we lean in one of
Mhm.
these. We're like,
Okay. Okay.
But I definitely think it has a lot to do with eye contact. At least for me personally, I can't stand when I'm trying to have a conversation with somebody and they can't look me in the eyes. I'm like, then what's the point of us talking? And
Yeah.
I think that the eye thing, and I know, Liz, you know what I'm talking about here, but like, men will always be like, oh, stop doing the eye thing.
Yes, I've been told that all the time.
Yes,
The eye
and
thing.
that's obviously like a really big thing that we do with our bodies that like we don't even know. Because like I have also been told that. I'm like, I'm just looking at you. What do you mean?
Like, I think it's like the puppy dog eyes. It's like for our people who watch on YouTube. I'm gonna reenact it right now. It's like the. I feel like I just look creepy.
You know it's hard to have it.
The guy in Michigan, he was like, "Don't look at me like that," and I'm like, "I'm not looking at you like anything." And then I look at him, and he's like, "Stop it! Like, don't look at me like that." But also, I am very bad with body language when first meeting someone. Like, for example, the guy who I kissed at the bar, I have no idea what his name was. Remember that guy?
Which one, Liz?
Okay, I kissed a lot of boys at a lot of bars, okay? The one where, with Madison in the car and Jazz.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that, unfortunately. I remember that. Continue, what were you going to say about him?
So, like, this boy was terrified to come talk to me, and, like, you guys tried, his friends tried, and he's like, I'm scared of her. And instead of, like, walking up to him and just, like, flirting or whatever, I just walk up and I'm like, so you're scared of me? Like, I'm just straight to the point. I'm like, you're scared to talk to me? And then he, like, blows a kiss to his friend across the bar, like, while we're having a conversation. And I'm like, oh, so are you going to kiss me? Are you going to kiss me now? Like, I don't, like, make any effort to show that. I mean, I'm sure I do. I'm just not, like, aware of it. But I just go straight to the point and tell them exactly what I'm feeling.
As you should. I also am a very straightforward gal.
Yes, you are.
And I think it works in a lot of situations. There's sometimes where men will be completely intimidated for, like, the story you just told. Except
he was terrified.
But, like,
yeah,
I'd say for me, 90% of the time, success. The success rate. So that's a statement, women. Be confident. If you think a guy's hot, go tell them. Go let them know.
Go tell him.
Or
except the guy in Madison when I was like, you can kiss me goodnight, and then he kissed me on the cheek. That is not what I meant.
That's not the vibe. Yeah.
So that guy in Madison who we were talking about, we just cut out a segment because Victoria had to tell me something about that just happened with him recently. I fell in love with him at the bar. That was when I, like, blacked out for a really long time and really hard.
She did.
Like, that was the worst I had ever been. But I fell in love with that guy, and I was like, I love him. He's so cute. I'm going to marry him. And if he would have asked me to marry him, I would have gone and got hitched that night.
It's scary because it's so true. Having been there, she was literally like, I love you. I'm in love with you. So, yeah, I witnessed it, and I was like, okay.
We're still friends on Snapchat, and he's talked to me since that moment when I Snapchatted him. Not the next day, but then, like, a few weeks afterwards, we did talk.
Yeah, so it all works out.
I think he could still be the love of my life.
Okay, again, some strong statements being made. We will see.
He said he wants to live in a van, and I want to live in a van, so...
And that's all it takes, men, if you're listening, and you think... I'm just kidding.
Are we, though?
Anyway. All of that, and this man didn't pick up on the body language.
He
He
didn't.
gave you a kiss on the cheek.
But when we were, like, at the bar talking by ourselves, we were, like, so close to each other. Like, our bodies were so close. We were talking and laughing, and then he walked me out to you because I couldn't walk by myself. And I was like, you can kiss me goodnight. And he's like, on the cheek, and left.
Yeah. Maybe he was respecting the fact that alcohol was consumed.
Yeah. So, I did message him the next day because I didn't remember most of what we talked about, and I was like, I'm sorry. But it was his fault. He did buy me all those drinks.
So there you go.
Yeah. There we go. Anyway, body language, yes.
Body language. Talking of men buying you drinks, another body language tricks here. I think that when you go to the bar, this is my technique.
I know your technique. Let's hear it.
Basing it off of this summer, always for a woman like me, I always wear a V-neck. It's a black V-neck, pretty much always, because these babies need to be out and about. I think that's the strongest message here.
Wait, hold on. I just got to make a quick comment here. Whenever Victoria and I are sitting at a bar and a man is not coming up to us, Victoria will be like, ugh. She will huff, she'll pull her shirt down, she'll lift her boobs up and set them on the counter until a man comes up to us.
And I have no shame. I have no shame in that move. It's one of these. None. And then you pull it down. I'm not wearing a V-neck right now. And then you sit up straight. And ladies, you know the trick. You put your arms, you're like, whatever, your biceps or whatever. What are these called?
Yeah, those are your biceps.
Like the top part of your arm.
And squeeze your boobies up.
Them, and then you sit like this, head forward, chin down, and you make eye contact with every man sitting at that bar until a shot is sent your way.
See, Victoria works for the both of us because I am part of the average bitty titty community.
Yeah, I have to say that I am
double
very
time.
Well endowed.
She's been blessed.
But that's body language at the bar. I mean, it's also very different circumstances. Like, I would never do that if I was trying to, like, pursue a relationship with some guy, but I'm never looking for that, so the flirty technique is all I need. Push the boobs up, bat your eyes a little. The men will come flocking your way.
So here's the problem when, like, a guy will buy you a drink, and you let him buy you a drink because you want the free drinks, but you're not into him.
Yes.
So the guy at the bar who, like, was wearing that burnt shirt because he threw it in the fire, and he bought me a shot and a drink, and then he, like, grabbed my face and kissed me. I let him because he bought me drinks, but then I was laughing the whole time while he was kissing me.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't take him seriously.
Yeah. There's always plenty of those situations where your body language may have worked a little too much. You're like, I just wanted a free drink out of this, and then
he's like, you want to go home with me tonight? You wanna have a hookup, a one night stand? And I'm like, no,
not exactly.
But thank you. That's so sweet.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of all of our bar stories and all, we have a new season of Like the Queens coming out after our LA episode drops. We are going to be going back and sharing all of our stories from Wisconsin this summer.
And do you have stuff to look forward to?
Oh, yes. This was the wildest summer of my life.
I would say the same. Literally so much happened.
From the day we met, so much happened. Literally the first 24 hours of our friendship. But we're not going to tell you that now. That'll be in a couple episodes. It'll probably be our first episode. We talk about the first 24 hours we met and what happened. So over the summer, Victoria and I, she got me into journaling. And so we both would journal about our days and our adventures and our crazy nights out and all these men that we would meet. And then the next day, whenever we would finish journaling about it, we would read the stories to each other from our perspectives. And we would be dying laughing.
Every time.
We would die.
So that's what you guys have to look forward to. You can hear about all the crazy shenanigans we got up in this summer in Wisconsin.
And there were a lot. And like for the people who hired us, if they listen to this, I hope we get another job someday. We had so much fun and like we did our duties, but we also had a lot of fun doing off duties.
We never missed a show, so.
We never missed a show. We made it through.
Exactly. So that's what you guys have to look forward to in season 2 of Like the Queens. So please stay tuned for that. It's going to be really fun.
Stay tuned for that. Yeah, so we'll have this episode dropping Wednesday, and then we'll have our LA episode, and then you have season 2 of 3 months of stories of what happened in Wisconsin between us two.
Yeah. So lots to look forward to.
Yeah.
So I think we covered body language in this episode. What we could.
I think we did too. I was just looking at the time, and I think we definitely covered it a lot.
Yeah.
And if people have questions, they should reach out to us. Oh, should we read that story from that girl?
Oh, yeah.
This is a date disaster story from our friend Kelly, okay?
Yes.
She said, "Hi, Queens. I have a funny disaster date story to share so you can share. I agreed to meet a guy from a dating app for a quick drink. Anyway, it went well, and he said I have a new place just around the corner, and it has the best view, LOL. So been a little tipsy, and since he seemed not creepy, I said sure. Once we got there, he was all over me like a rash, and he put my hand down into his pants so I could feel how hard he was for me, LOL. It was in fact hard already, and he said he could take off his pants as it was uncomfortable being erect in the pants, haha. So anyway, we end up on his couch with his pride and joy out of his pants, and we are making out. He says you're not going to blue ball me now, which, girl, yes you can if you want to. And he says, get on top and see if you can get it in with no hands. I was like, WTF, I have never done it like that. I like to guide it in with my hand, but I went along as it seemed like a fun challenge, LOL. Let me tell you, it's hard to do, but after some fumbling around and been careful not to bend it in half, as the hard D was mostly missing the spot and stabbing near. Anyway, after about like 5 minutes, it gets in. I start to grind deep and hard, and he says that's okay, but for me to stay hard, I need to ride up and down my big hard rod. Guys are jerks.
I literally hated everything about that statement, but
me
continue.
too. Me too. Not a big fan of the bouncing, as it tires my legs so much and doesn't feel anywhere near as good as grinding. So I bounce up and down, and he says to go faster and ride the full length of the... This is a bad word. I don't think I should say out loud, but you guys know.
You know the vibe.
So I do. I can feel it almost coming out when going high and sort of bending a little going back in, so I slow down a bit. He then says, can't you handle a big pee-pee? That's not what she said.
What?
That's what I said. I don't want to say that.
Let's pause. I don't even care about what you said. Why did he say that? Why did he say that? That wasn't even... What? Okay,
yeah.
Anyway, continue reading the story.
Some men need to have, like, a woman come and just put them in their place.
That wasn't the issue there. That wasn't the issue, trust me, sir.
She goes, was not that big, actually. So then as I rise up, he must have pulled back too far, and when I have come back down and went to go back in, it bent in half. He screamed out in pain, and I stopped in shock too. I jumped off and said, are you okay? He was acting like a baby, saying I was too rough then. His erection went soft as he was scared it was fractured, so could not finish and come. Thankfully, it was not. He went to doctors, and they said he was lucky. FYI, I found out an erect penis can in fact fracture. It usually makes a loud pop sound, apparently. Yikes. It makes me wonder how many other near misses I have had with penises now. LOL. Love, Kelly. Kelly, Thank you so much for that story. It made us laugh. It was a great one.
It did make me laugh. But now that this is my second time, hearing this. And now that I've actually heard it, there's a few things that I would like to break down.
Break it down.
First of all, the fact that he's oh, you can't handle this. Sir, that was not the issue. she could handle it. It was the fact that you were trying to make this a challenge when sex is not supposed to be a challenge. It's supposed to be a fun thing. You invited her over to your place. Take care of her. Second of all, oh, how the tables turned when you got hurt. When you're a problem, and then you got mad at her.
Yeah.
You should have let her do what she needed to do.
Also, I'd like to point out how he cared more about his pleasure and not enough about hers. And it was all about him the entire time.
Because, like, I get it. It is tiring on the legs. And the fact that you weren't allowed to, like, use any other part of your body. Kelly, you stuck it out longer.
You did.
But in a way, it kind of, like, showed him that maybe he should calm down. Maybe he shouldn't have this challenge.
Yeah. Also, girl, I hope you've had better experiences than that, like, after that one. Like, I hope you found a man that cares just as much about you as he does himself.
Yeah. Switch things up every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my gosh. But thank you for that submission. It did make me laugh. I laughed again.
It's a good one.
For the second time.
Please continue to send more of those submissions. Bad dates, bad hookups, funny first date stories, like anything that you want us to read. We'll absolutely do it.
Yeah, they make us so happy.
They do.
So keep them coming.
Yeah.
Keep the reviews coming. Please go like and rate us. We got a really sweet review on Apple Podcasts.
We did. It made our day.
And that just made us so happy. So
yeah,
just continue to support us however you can. And follow us on Instagram.
Yes! So like, rate, review, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. And we'll see y'all next week to tell you about Los Angeles.
Fun. Alrighty, I'm Victoria.
I'm Elizabeth. Like the queens.